Hey everyone, you may have wondered what's the point of the ex-Muslim label? Why do you bother with that? Why define yourself as something you are not? Why play identity politics? You know, many of us have grappled with such questions. In my interview with Ali Malik, a fellow ex-Muslim, we discussed the following. I'm also going to share a very interesting quote I read from a Uyghur Muslim about how accommodating the Islam label can be, which is really the direction I wish we would go. But until that happens, we need the ex-Muslim label. Have a listen and let me know in the comments what you think.
I think it's important for a simple reason. It took me 5 years to find first ex-Muslim, and then take 2 more years to be okay with myself after working. I spent 7 years of my life in that limbo of being hating myself, not being okay with myself, hating my community, being angry, being constantly anxious, isolation, depression, everything that you can think of. And my first step towards feeling normal was the first time I came across an ex-Muslim. And for me, I use the word ex-Muslim with pride, because it highlights the journey I've been through. It tells people that I've made a decision based on my own thinking. It's not something that's been taught to me. And others should feel pride in that, because Islam is a religion that provides foundation for your life. Islam takes pride in saying that it's a complete code of conduct, and it provides you complete code for your life, right? And getting rid of that foundation or letting go of that foundation, you have to build your life from start again, given what kind of Muslim you are.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. That is a big thing. It's quite scary. Some people take longer than others, but again, the first thing that can make you feel better is knowing there are others who've been through same. And that's where the label ex-Muslim comes in. That's why it's important to use. I know there's been some controversy. There's bound to be.
There's
It's
always,
fine. Sorry.
always going to be.
There's always going to be, but the importance of the label ex-Muslim cannot be undermined, because it's highlighting an existence that is still condemned to death in many parts of the world. It's not like it's been accepted. Once it's been accepted that leaving Islam is okay, you get on with your life, it's fine. We don't have to use it. In fact, we're using it to get to a day that where we don't have to use it. It's not part of it. It's not our whole identity. It's just a part of it.
I definitely, I want to expand Muslim label to include ex-Muslims because I think if someone doesn't have to, like I read a comment by someone that was a Chinese Muslim, and I guess he was an Uyghur Muslim, and he said, I don't even know, like this was a comment on EXMNA's page, and he said, I don't know why you guys have to use this label. Like he's like, Muslim here, we drink, whatever. We still say Muslim. Like we don't care. I am Uyghur from China. I came across the term ex-Muslims when I was searching for mosques in my area to distribute brochures for a demonstration in Washington, D.C. First, I thought it must be a gimmick to get attention to something they want. Then, after reading some stuff about them, I realized this is a serious, legitimate issue here. China is a communist country and as such prohibits religion for people under 18, students or government workers, which rules out pretty much everybody except peasants and middle-class dropouts in cities. I've never had a proper chance to learn Islam, but always practiced as much or little as I wanted ever since I graduated college, which limited to going to mosque twice a year on Al-Adha, which we call Qurban Heat and Ramadan Heat, praying at funerals or other public gatherings involved praying. Like most Uyghurs, I do not see anything wrong with not praying daily or other rituals devout Muslims do. I like drinking beer, whiskey, and vodka at social gatherings and do other stuff that secular people do. We could always openly discuss religion among friends and say whatever we want.
I heard at least 100 times from others that religion is a man made fairy tale, and I said that a few times myself. But I still consider myself a Muslim, like many Uyghurs grew up in the atheist country of China. The only line I don't cross is eating pork. Uyghurs can openly say God doesn't exist without repercussions from families and friends, but they cannot eat pork, as a distinction from the Chinese and other non Muslim peoples. The one thing I don't do out of respect to my religion, my people, and the traditions. If you're a Uyghur, you don't need to invent a label like ex Muslim because religion is a private matter between you and God. You believe and practice as much as you want, and people around you are completely okay with that. Basically, secularism coexists with Islam without any problem among Uyghurs and other Turkic people in Western China, a place called East Turkestan. But China thinks even that is too religious and wants to force people to give up any cultural part of their heritage deemed religious, like funerals, marriage ceremonies, eating habits, etc. They locked up to 3 million people out of a total population of 15 million in what we call concentration camps and forced them to denounce their religion and eat pork. And the Muslim world is completely silent because when the perpetrators are not Westerners, they are okay with it. Maybe we're not Muslim enough in all after all in their eyes, but too Muslim in China's eyes. I thought if you want to live a secular life, it's your choice. You don't need to make a fuss, just live it. But after reading some of the stuff you guys wrote, I've realized it's not that simple if you come from Middle East. Feel sorry for you guys that you feel the need to come up with a new label and separate identity from your traditional community. Thank God I can still go to wedding parties, drink alcohol from across the table from very religious fellow Uyghurs who don't drink.
But over here, it's different. It's not like that. I mean, I guess in that place, in that locality, it's at the point where it's accommodating enough so that lapsed Muslims or former Muslims, they're still Muslim. But it's not like that over here. Over like in the UK, in Canada, actually most of the world,
Most of them.
you
Like,
are not either Muslim or you're not Muslim. There's no such thing as like Muslim but not Muslim. There's no agnostic Muslim. I mean, Hassan Radwan was pushing for this label,
yeah,
agnostic Muslim, but every single time you use this label, everyone's always asking, "What's agnostic Muslim? What's agnostic Muslim?" Like they don't understand that you could be Muslim as an identity marker and agnostic as a belief, like indicator. That's not even possible in people's minds because they just think either you're Muslim or you're not. Whereas agnostic Jew, I mean, that's pretty common
it is
nowadays. I mean,
extremely common. Yeah, but that's what happens with an all-encompassing ideology, right?
yeah,
Because absolutism, uh, and all-encompassing. The moment you're saying that you're not adhering to this all-encompassing part of Islam, say you're not a Muslim, there are conditions. There are literally conditions of being a Muslim, right? There are 6 conditions that you have today to be a Muslim, and we live in a world where we can afford to expand that definition, but there is a backlash. There is going to be some sort of backlash. uh, it's the matter of how we deal with that backlash, really.
yeah, and that's the key point is the backlash is very, very severe. Like it needs to be toned down a notch. I mean, it's okay to be upset with someone, but it's not okay to harm them physically, financially, or emotionally because you don't agree with the belief or lack of his belief or lack of the belief, right? So this problem is much worse with ex-Muslim women than men. Uh,
Complete.
Brunt of it, and they get actually usually have a much worse situation than an ex-Muslim man would have. But it's tough in both cases. It's tough for people that are still living with their family. It's tough for people. It's a little bit easier if you're on your own because at least then you don't have to deal with the backlash. So